Welcome to What the Biz, where we talk about building successful businesses, balancing life, and all the WTB in between. With your hosts, me, Richard Pyatt.
I'm Brigitte Vector.
And I'm Dan Prochko.
What the Biz, that's our program, and we're glad you found us right here because we, the three of us, Brigitte, Dan, Richard, are small business owners who have been somewhat scrappy in saying, look, we're going to do our thing. And off we went. But that didn't mean it was always simple. And that's part of what we're here about. So a little support for our fellow entrepreneurs who have done the same. Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
What's going on? Hey.
Well, it's interesting because our subject today is keeping the passion alive for your business. And so we, as you say, what's going on? Just been keeping the passion alive. We're trying to move things along here.
That's a segue if I ever heard one.
Yeah, well, we try our best.
We've been pretty darn busy. I know I teased this, before recording a little bit, but I got some big news. I know I'm gonna tease this. It's gonna be like a build you a buttercup moment. I just want you to know, I'm gonna build it up a bit, but there isn't gonna be the biggest payoff. Okay. I started writing a book. Really? Is kind of the big thing. Yeah. So, last episode heard, about recent events, within growth and other things. And we started writing ebooks and we're working on some webinars and some other things, but we've done enough writing and everything that there is enough content and structure around a book for marketing. So I'm really excited about it. I have nothing to share. I'm not going to share the title with you right now. Except to say it has something to do with 7 figures. That's about it. And it's exciting. It's been crazy putting ideas down into a way that others can use them, which is totally different because we're all experts. We know what we do, but getting through it and being so methodical about it and really thinking about their point of view is it's like, yeah, no, you can take this and apply it. No, you do this. Yeah, done. So I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited for it.
That's
Boy, talk
awesome.
about passion. Yeah.
Yeah. Dan's finding a way to keep his passion alive.
No, right? I know. The tie-in is crazy. I don't know how long the book is going to be. I mean, I have this actually all started from one ebook that we wrote that's not out there yet. That's probably going to be, but it's like a 60, 70 page ebook. And others are already like, oh my God, that's like a book in and of itself. And I'm like, well, there's some things I realized there were some things missing. I put it out to some other marketers, colleagues of mine that I work with to be like, hey, am I off the reservation here? Am I just missing, is the target off? And they're like, no, this is amazing. You should be charging for this. And I'm like, wait, what?
Ooh.
And because I was going to be giving it away for free. And they're like, there is too much in here. Even if it's $8, you need to charge. So I was like, it totally changed my mindset. Okay. Because doing these little small ebooks for free, building an email list and everything is one thing, but putting out a book and they're like, Dan, you've got this whole system that you do. You called it the NPM system. You have these other things that go into it. Write the book. You're halfway there with this. And so doing that right now. And it's been really, really cool. It's been really cool putting those thoughts down and really solidifying them and everything.
It's interesting how that happens because that kind of describes, as I was in the formative stages about my business concept, I did the same thing. I would share that with a couple of select people who knew a little bit about how to engage. And I didn't know if it was a good idea. And somebody said, actually more than one person said, you come back to me when you do that because I'm going to buy that. Whoa. Okay. So it sounds like a similar moment. Yeah. When somebody said, this is more than you think it is.
No, it really was. I was kind of shocked. But the more I thought about it, it's like, no, this is exactly what I advise clients to do. This is it. clients do this, they grow. Like this isn't, and so it was like, yeah, I think that is worth something, you know. That's all.
Yeah.
But really, the book that I'm wanting to write and the way it's being written is that you can take what's in there and do it. Like you don't have to hire us. We do really well, and we're going to help you go faster if you do. But the idea is we know there's a lot of businesses that can't. We run into so many of them where it's like too small, but they can probably do enough on their own to get to the point where then they can hire that help, whether that be us or someone internally or something. And by following it, they can reach that next stage, which is really what they need, because they're usually a single owner still doing the work, and they might have a part-timer or maybe one other full-timer, but then they themselves as the owner, not only are they doing the work, like cleaning a house, they're also doing sales, they're also hiring, they're also training, they're also doing their bookkeeping or their accounting, they're also like also, and it's like they're just going to get burned out if they don't actually reach that next level. So that's who the book is going to be geared for, those types of owners. In that realm. So
I love
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You're growing
And
your
then
impact is what you're doing. Like your ability to impact more people is going to just grow astronomically.
yeah,
So
truly hope to. And I need you two to keep me accountable because I don't want this taking longer than like a month to get done. Because like I said, I'm pretty much already halfway done. So it should be done. I'm putting it on the podcast too, but you two really have to keep me accountable to that one.
It is interesting. The both of you are doing something similar. So in the last episode, Bridget talked about how she has developed a new program where she's targeting folks who want to work in bookkeeping. And now Dan is saying, I'm creating this tool where folks can employ some of what we do in a how-to kind of approach. You're both finding these new angles, which is really exciting. Talk about passion. I know I keep saying that, but there it is.
I mean, I personally have figured out that I needed to pivot to find a way to multiply myself and
Yep.
to do it in a way that is more cost effective for everybody to be impacted by what we're doing. Because same as Dan, like we have recognized that business owners can't necessarily fully afford exactly what we can offer early on in their business. And so not only are we finding a way to pivot to duplicate what we're doing, because gosh, there's such a need for good bookkeepers in the industry. So me being able to share all of our resources, yeah, have I put blood, sweat, and tears into what I've developed? 1,000,000%. But the impact that I can make on others by sharing it, it's beneficial for me. Like I'm fine giving it away and making sure that, they get the benefit from what we've put into it. But we're also pivoting then on the business side, kind of in a similar way. And we have exciting things happening. I am going to have an actual operations manager joining the team at the end of June.
Congrats.
Yes, it is somebody that we have known for a long time. He's been in the corporate world and he finally sent the text I have been waiting for that he said, okay, I'm ready to make the change. Do you have room for me still on your
Wow.
team?
Huh.
And it is something that we've needed. It's coming with a price tag that makes a business owner want to puke, but it is going to be absolutely 1,000,000% worth it because I know what it's going to open doors for my time to focus more in these other areas that I really love. So he's coming on board in June, which may be when this airs. So he may be part of the team when this is coming out. And yeah, so that's going to allow me. We are actually building out a Build Your QuickBooks in an Hour course right now. So it's going to be the
Oh, wow.
intro. Yep, an intro course for business owners that need a low cost, but they need to have, functional accounting in place. So we are going to make it easy. They can do it in less than an hour, and it is going to target all of the main things that they need to know about doing their own accounting. So
My hands in
super
the air.
excited. Yes. Okay, Richard, I'm going to add you to the list. I have 3 people now that we are going to let have the program for free so that they can give us feedback. So
Really?
you can have it. Yes.
Wow. All I did
So,
was raise my hand.
Thank you for raising your hand. That's
Won
all
the
we need people to
lottery.
do, right,
dude,
Dan?
that's it. Yeah,
Raise your
talk about
hand and we've
that's
got your
it. Raise your
back.
hands. Yeah. Yeah. You know what's really
Wow.
funny about that? That's funny you say that because we released a program. It's not free, but we released a program at heavy discount if people were willing to just give feedback and work through. And it was to our current clients, and we were totally open about it. Like, hey, you're gonna get a heavy discount, but that is for us to really work together. You'll have that discount forever, but really work with us, dial this in, and blah blah blah. We only had 2 people say yes out of the whole, and it's just like,
Hmm.
and it's like a pretty small percent, and I'm just like, that's really weird. Like people have a hard time raising hands. So
Yeah,
yeah, way to raise your hand. Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
Well,
Raise your
thank you.
hand and we've got your
Raise
back.
your hand. We got your back.
Thank
That's
you
it.
so
Exactly.
much.
Yeah.
Well, so this is passion, right? This is uh, the what gets derived from the passion that you have. Look at that. 2 examples. And I would say in my experience, the passion for the idea still moves me. You two are way farther down the pike here than I am, but when that person, those people said to me, "Come back to me, I'm going to buy that." Whoa, okay, well, guess what? That fuels some of the passion, doesn't it? It says, "Oh, maybe I'm not all wet here. Maybe I have an idea that's worthy. Maybe I bring this strength to the table that folks need." And that is so igniting of the passion. It's still burning for me. I really love that.
Yeah.
You
And I
know,
feel like that helps when you're exploring those new opportunities or thinking of new ways to take your knowledge and share it. Because I mean, I feel like the world gets burned out by hearing the same messages over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And if we can continuously just improve the way that we are delivering things or saying things or, pouring value into people, not only does it keep our passion alive, but it helps fuel their passions too.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I feel like my passion builds when I get to watch other people achieve their dreams and, their goals. And so if we can do that through pivoting and new opportunities, then here we are.
It didn't go unnoticed that the phrasing of this subject was keeping the passion alive. So now we talked about igniting it and to some extent how you two have been inspired by the passion. But have you ever gotten to a spot where you say, "Oh, brother, I just don't know"?
If you don't, are you a business owner?
Well, there you go.
oh, so true. Oh, so true. I mean, just last week when I was sharing about, we had a cohort of clients that left, inexplicably altogether and at the same time, and the hit that was. I mean, it's one of those moments where it's just like, oh, it's deflating. It's just
Yes.
like, am I really cut out for this? It gets into your self-confidence. It hits and our brains just do this thing where it just hits you over and over again with some negativity, et cetera. And it's like, okay, am I really like you then you have those thoughts, but hopefully there's somebody in your life. There's I mean, support. I mean, what Bridget, you just said, or a bit, maybe that was the last episode was, um, you get with that like-minded group or people that have a mindset that keep you in it, that keep you motivated, keep you going. You turn to them. It's like, hey, what did I miss? What's going on? Why am I feeling this? I mean, a therapist, even whatever that is, and it's just like not necessarily getting over it per se, but it's just like using it as fuel is how I approach it sometimes. Is like, okay, that happened. Okay, my next step is to fill that, but plus more. I'm not trying to just get back to where I was. My whole goal was to build beyond where I was. So it's like, okay,
Mhm.
now that I have some capacity, I still love what I do. I'm still going to do marketing. It's like, okay, what's that next gear and to hit? Let's just get into it now. It was hard before because we had big capacity filled. We've got some capacity. Let's use that time and really put the pedal down to the floor kind of thing. I don't know that that answered the question whatsoever, but yes, I felt
think
it,
so.
and that's what it does in my brain. At least it does that for me. Maybe wired differently, but for me, it's a kicks. You know, if I was in second gear, it just kicks me into third. You know, business might be a little smaller, but I know we've got something really good because we hear it from every other client, and so it's done. We're just going to go into third gear and kick it up a notch.
Yeah, it could have an opposite effect for some people, though, right? I mean, it could. You mentioned it, Dan. It cuts into your self confidence, and you end up in this lull, maybe, where you have to pick yourself up and say, "Come on, get moving."
Yeah.
Anybody relate to that?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like early on in business, it's very easy to fall into that because there's so many unknowns already. And then you take some of these hits and you're just like, oh my gosh, like why am I even doing this? Why like is this even worth it anymore?
Hmm.
Um I mean, I still have those days where I have a moment of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like this is happening, or I can't believe this is my day. Is this worth it? But I've trained my mind and really connected with some things that help get through it a lot faster. And I know it's so cliche about, the why, like why do you have your business? But I am a firm believer in that exercise because you can come back to that and it can be as simple as I don't want to work for somebody else for their dream and in their office on their time. And if that is literally the biggest why for you, just remembering that you don't want to be doing that can help you get through some of the hurdles. Yeah.
And for a lot of us, that's the why, but there could be other whys in there. Whatever the why is, can help recenter us, is your point.
Yeah. And just keeping those whys on a list is helpful that you can just look at and be like, yep, these are all of my whys. And I think in another episode, we talked about even, keeping a list of the successes that you've had because it's so easy to forget the things you've accomplished. So when you're going through the moments where your passion is like, kind of like lingering out and you don't have as much anymore, pull out the whys, pull out the successes, and it can help kind of refuel and find that support group, those darn
That's so true.
masterminds.
That's such a good tip. Go back to that list of successes. I'll have to pull up which episode that was, put it in the show notes for this episode because nobody's going to remind you of that other than yourself. So having that list is so important. And those whys, that really is the whole reason we're here. Some people may have started out of necessity, that's okay, but it usually evolves into something a little bit bigger that's more motivating than necessity. And that's the why to keep and hold on to and just refocus on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
if anybody is like having a hard time, message us. We'll have a chat. And we'll talk about what you have going on and how to find your why or stay motivated to it because you probably have a good one and you're right there. Is all it is.
that's a marvelous thought that is talking about the whys, right? Why did we start doing this was to provide some support for those who are doing this. And maybe you do need to bounce that off of somebody. Why couldn't that be us? Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
whatthebiz.com and social media and all of that. And Dan even has that fancy voicemail thing on the website. And so you could just press record and say, yeah, help me find my passion, my why. I wrote it down and I don't know where it is. It's in this pile of papers in here or something. I don't know. But maybe we can help you get recentered on that. I, Bridget, you said I decided I don't want to work for anybody else. I said that to somebody yesterday as we were talking about this, that this is going to work because I do have that passion, but I now know what that feels like to be driving my own destiny here, and that can feel pretty darn good.
Yep. Just
Yes.
remembering that
Yes.
is
Yeah.
helpful. Yep.
All
I think
right.
it's one of the easiest things to fall back to, too. If you have that big thing, like that big why, Um, of course, we all have other whys below it, but if it really comes down to I want to be in control of my own destiny and build my own thing, yes, it will work because it has to, because
Hmm.
that's what I want to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you have it. So why did you do this? Why are you doing this? Or maybe you're listening to this because you want to drive your own destiny. Why? Why do you want to? Uh, and we don't talk about that a lot. There could be some folks out there who are running their finger around an idea and trying to decide whether to take the plunge. Boy, I'll tell you what, I was there. I was standing on the edge of the diving board. Should I jump? Is there water down there? You know, when you're giving up what's comfortable, sometimes that can be tough. So maybe that's you. Talk to us about that too, because that could be a useful way to gain some input about whether or not you should even do something. But it's in the whys. That's in the whys too, somewhere, I guess. WHYS and maybe WISE. I don't know. But wise, wise. That's what we need. All right. Whatthebiz.com is where we are. And as Dan said, check the show notes for other resources. And we'll be back on What the Biz before you know it. So glad you found us.